Angel Dust isn't just stepping into the spotlight in season 3. He's dragging the whole show with him, whether hell is ready or not. And the deeper you look into his past, the more you realize this season might break him before it saves him. Season 3 already feels like it's gearing up to pull Angel Dust straight into the center of everything, whether he wants that weight on his shoulders or not. And honestly, the way season 2 left him, it's almost impossible for the story to move forward without dealing with the mess that's eating him alive. Angel didn't just walk away from the hotel. He ran from it like every memory inside those walls was clawing at him, reminding him of everything he blames himself for. And the worst part, not a single thing he's beating himself up over was actually his fault. Fox turned his mind into a puppet show. Valentino twisted the narrative into another way to boost his fake hero image, and the entire media of hell spun Angel into the villain of a story he never agreed to be part of. But that's the dangerous part about Angel. Once he believes the worst about himself, he sticks to it like it's gospel. It doesn't matter what Cherry says, or what Husk tries to get through to him, or that Charlie would welcome him back the second he walked through the door. He's convinced he doesn't deserve any of that anymore, and that's exactly why Season 3 feels like it's morphing into the Angel Dust show, not because he wants the spotlight, but because the deeper he sinks, the harder the narrative pulls everything around him toward that downward spiral. The show has played with guilt before, but not like this. Not where the guilt becomes a direction, not just a feeling. And if Season 2's finale taught us anything, it's that the stakes around Angel are higher than anything we've seen from him before. Valentino didn't just get stronger publicly. He gained the kind of influence that infects everything. He's being painted as this brave, selfless icon who stepped in to save hell when the truth is he just didn't want to die or lose business. And now that Vox is weakened, Val is suddenly standing on this pedestal he never earned. And every sinner who believes the headlines is feeding his ego even more. Which means Angel is in more danger than ever because Val finally feels untouchable. And that's where the season's tension really starts to build. Angel isn't just fighting a contract anymore. He's fighting an entire system that's rewriting reality around him. A system that keeps insisting he's worthless, disposable, broken beyond repair, and he's starting to believe it. He's spiraling harder than we've ever seen him, and the timing couldn't be worse. Because Season 3 is also the moment the story is pushing his human life to the surface. The secrets he's been burying for years aren't going to stay buried. If the show keeps following the pattern from Season 2, where every character getting screen time is forced to confront exactly what led them to hell. In Angel's case, that's darker than almost all of them. The revelation that he supposedly killed his father wasn't just a twist. It was the writers straight up telling us, yeah, we're going there. But the real problem is how shaky that explanation feels. If Angel killed his father out of self-defense or for someone else's safety, heaven's logic wouldn't have sent him to hell. Which means whatever happened that night wasn't noble. It wasn't heroic, it was something ugly. Something fueled by rage or resentment that Angel's been running from since the day he died. And the moment the show dives into that memory is the moment Season 3 stops being about redemption and becomes something heavier: accountability, consequences, trauma. And whether someone who hates himself this much can even begin to heal. And then there's the family waiting in the shadows: Arachnis, Molly, and the father whose name still hasn't been revealed. All three of them are sitting like ticking time bombs for Angel's story. Arachnis is clearly coming soon, especially with his voice actor leaked months before production wrapped. Molly, on the other hand, might stay an off-screen presence until Angel actually has a chance at heaven. But the father is the real wild card. If he's in hell, and he absolutely should be, then we're headed toward an encounter that might completely shatter Angel's emotional armor. That man wasn't some misunderstood parent. He was mob royalty, abusive, cold, and more interested in power than his own kids. Angel killing him wasn't a mistake, it was the moment he broke. And if Season 3 forces Angel to face the man who destroyed his childhood, that's not just character development, that's a war. And all of this, the guilt, the trauma, the past, the family, the contract, the media manipulation, is setting up Angel Dust as the emotional core of Season 3, even if the rest of the cast doesn't realize it yet. Because everything that's coming next begins with him, whether he's ready for it or not. If there's one thing Season 3 refuses to avoid, it's the messy fallout of Angel's choices. Or at least the choices he thinks he made, because right now he's trapped in this dangerous headspace where he's rewriting his own memories to make himself the villain, and that's exactly what Valentino wants. The moment Angel walked out of the hotel, Val didn't chase him physically. He didn't need to. The second Angel chose isolation, Val already won half the battle. Because Angel alone is Angel at his weakest. Angel alone is Angel replaying every mistake on a loop, convincing himself he deserved everything that happened, and that nobody from the hotel actually needs him. And when someone like Val sees weakness, he doesn't just exploit it, he feeds it. And this is where the story gets really twisted, because season 3 isn't just setting up Angel versus Val as some flashy showdown. It's setting up something psychological, slow, suffocating. Val has already spent years conditioning Angel to believe he's worthless without him. Now he has the entire public opinion of hell backing that lie. Every broadcast painting Val as a misunderstood hero pushes Angel deeper into that pit of self-destructs. And the thing is, Angel knows exactly how deep this pit goes. He's been here before. Back when he first signed that soul contract thinking he was getting the deal of a lifetime. He didn't realize he was walking into the same cycle. He swore he'd escaped the night he killed his father, a cycle of being controlled, used, manipulated, and reduced to nothing more than merchandise with a pulse. But the irony is brutal. Angel thought killing his father would free him. Instead, it just pushed him into the arms of another monster dressed in nicer clothes. And while Angel is lost in that spiral, the hotel is dealing with its own mess. Charlie is trying to stay optimistic, but she feels that void. She built the hotel to help people like Angel, and losing him cuts deeper than she wants to admit. Faggy is trying to keep things together on the surface, but she's stressed, frustrated, and ready to drag Angel back by whatever limb she can grab. And then there's Cherry. If anyone in hell knows Angel better than he knows himself, it's her. She's angry at him for leaving, worried about what he might do to himself, and furious that Vol's lies are being treated as truth by half the city. Cherry isn't the type to sit around and cry, but season 3 might finally push her into territory where fear outweighs anger, because she's losing her best friend and she knows it. The one character who feels like he's standing right at the edge of a major turning point is Husk. His bond with Angel in season 2 wasn't treated like a joke or some throwaway subplot. It was quiet, subtle, but real. Husk doesn't trust easily, he barely trusts himself. But he let Angel in, and that matters. Husk is one of the few characters who understands the kind of emptiness Angel is drowning in, because he's lived in that same emptiness for decades. And if anyone is going to go after Angel, not because it's the right thing, but because he genuinely cares, it's Husk. Season 3 could easily turn into a story where Husk becomes the emotional bridge between Angel and the hotel, and honestly, that might be one of the strongest dynamics the writers could explore. But the real turning point is coming from the past, Angel's past, to be exact. Because this season isn't going to let him hide behind jokes and denial anymore. The show has already hinted at his family. But now we're finally reaching the moment where those hints become confrontations. Arachnis isn't just a brother. He's a reminder of everything Angel tried to forget. They grew up in the same house, under the same father, in the same toxic environment, but the difference between them is huge. Arachnis hardened himself. Angel tried to escape. Arachnis stayed loyal to the family business. Angel broke the cycle by killing the man who ran it. So when these two finally stand face to face, it won't be a warm welcome. It'll be 20+ years of resentment, bitterness, and unspoken trauma exploding at once. And then there's the father. His presence alone is going to be a storyline that shakes Hell's foundation. Because Angel's father isn't some mystery figure who disappears after 2 lines of dialogue. He's the origin of every wound Angel carries. He's the reason Angel grew up convinced love was transactional. He's the reason Angel believes pain is normal and kindness is suspicious. And if that man is alive in hell right now, if he comes back into the story the moment Angel is at his lowest, that's not just emotional damage waiting to happen, that's character collapse. That's the kind of narrative that either destroys Angel completely or becomes the moment he finally breaks the chains he's been dragging since the day he died. And that's the terrifying beauty of season 3. It doesn't feel like a redemption arc anymore. It feels like a reckoning. Every lie Angel believed, every trauma he buried, every decision he regrets, every person he pushed away, everything he ran from, all of it is closing in at once, forming this massive storm that Angel is going to have to walk straight through, whether he wants to or not. And the second the season forces him to face himself, that's when the story stops holding back. Season 3 feels like it's building toward this unavoidable collision. Angel's past, his present, and every insecurity he's been burying for years finally smashing together at the worst possible moment. And the more you look at the way season 2 ended, the more obvious it becomes that Angel isn't just running from Valentino, he's running from himself. Because deep down, he knows that facing Val is the easy part. It's the memories he's scared of, the family he abandoned, the truth he's been pretending doesn't exist. That's the stuff he can't joke his way out of, and that's exactly where the show is heading. And that's what makes the potential first encounter between Angel and Arachnis so explosive. Arachnis isn't walking into this story as some quirky sibling reunion. He's walking into it with decades of unresolved anger sitting on his shoulders. This is a man who lived under the same manipulative, violent father Angel eventually killed, but unlike Angel, Arachnis stayed loyal to that system. He didn't break the mold, he didn't fight the cycle, he embraced it. Which means when he looks at Angel now, he doesn't see a brother, he sees a traitor. Someone who destroyed the family structure he was conditioned to protect. Someone who walked away from everything they were raised to become. And that's where the tension becomes suffocating. Because Angel doesn't have the strength right now to handle that confrontation, not mentally, not emotionally. He's barely holding himself together after Vox hijacked his mind and exposed him to a level of helplessness he hasn't felt since childhood. And now, instead of getting support, instead of getting time to breathe, he's walking right back into the kind of environment that made him vulnerable enough for Valentino to sink his claws in. To begin with, Angel running to his family isn't healing, it's regression. It's falling back into the version of himself he thought he escaped, but that's the point. Season 3 wants him to break so it can finally show how he rebuilds. But even if Angel tries to avoid that confrontation, other people won't let it slide. Cherry isn't stupid, she knows Angel well enough to sense that something is seriously off. And while she's impulsive and reckless, she's also loyal to a fault. If she thinks Angel's family has even the slightest connection to why he's spiraling, she's not going to sit quietly and give him space. She's going to dig, she's going to investigate. She's going to hunt down every scrap of information she can get about the Spider family, even if it means crossing lines she normally wouldn't, because Cherry understands something most of the hotel doesn't. When Angel isolates himself, it's not because he wants to be alone. It's because he thinks he deserves to be alone, and that's exactly the mindset Valentino thrives on. Val sees Angel distancing himself from everyone who cares about him, and he takes it as an invitation. Season 3 might actually be the first time we see Valentino not just exerting physical or emotional control, but strategic control. He's not chasing Angel with threats, he's chasing him with opportunity, with promises. With that fake charm he hides behind when he wants to appear like a generous businessman, rather than the monster he actually is. And the terrifying part is that Angel is vulnerable enough right now to fall for it. All Valentino has to do is act nice for 5 minutes, and Angel could slip right back into old patterns. Patterns that took years to form and only weeks at the hotel to disrupt. But this season isn't just about Angel being pulled back into Val's orbit. It's about the hotel waking up to what Angel has been carrying alone. Charlie is going to hit a breaking point when she realizes Angel didn't leave because he lost faith in her, he left because he lost faith in himself. And for someone like Charlie, the girl who built an entire redemption system based on hope, watching someone you care about drown in their own guilt is the kind of failure that cuts deep. Charlie will want to fix it, Vaggie will want to force a solution. But neither of them actually understands Angel the way Husk and Cherry do. And Husk is heading toward a major emotional shift. He's usually quiet, bitter, and sarcastic, but with Angel he finally let down his guard. Just a little, enough to show that under all that anger is someone who actually does care. And losing Angel now, that would hit him harder than he wants to admit. Husk might end up being the one person who confronts Angel not with anger, not with pity, but with honesty. He knows what addiction looks like, he knows what self-destruct feels like. He knows how it feels to wake up one day and not recognize the person you've become. If anyone can pull Angel back from the edge, it's him, but only if Angel lets him. Meanwhile, up in heaven, Molly is living in a world completely disconnected from all this chaos. She has no idea what her brothers are going through, no idea that Angel is breaking down, that Arachnis might be pulled into Val's schemes, or that their father could be resurfacing. And that's the tragic part. Molly is the one person who could actually remind Angel of who he was before everything went wrong. She represents something he lost long before he ever stepped foot in hell: innocence, safety, and a version of family that wasn't built on fear. But she's unreachable, untouchable, locked behind heaven's walls until the show decides Angel is finally worthy of seeing her again. And that's where the real suspense of Season 3 comes from. It's not about whether Angel can escape Val. It's not about whether the hotel can fix its image. It's not even about whether Arachnis becomes a friend or an enemy. It's about whether Angel can survive facing the version of himself he's been hiding from for years, because the second he confronts that truth, the second he stops running, that's when the show shifts. That's when Angel stops being a joke to himself and starts becoming the character the entire narrative has been quietly building him up to be, the heart of the series, the one sinner whose redemption actually means something. And Season 3 is ready to push him right to that breaking point. Season 3 is shaping up to be the moment where the narrative finally stops protecting Angel from the truth he's been dodging for years, because every storyline around him is tightening like a noose. And the deeper we go, the more it becomes clear that this wasn't just set up for Angel to suffer. It's set up for him to wake up, because right now, Angel is standing at the crossroads of who he used to be, who he pretends to be, and who he wants to be, but instead of choosing a path, he's spiraling in circles, convincing himself he doesn't deserve any path at all. And this is exactly the moment the show is going to hit him where it hurts most: his father. The idea of Angel's father being reintroduced into the story isn't just juicy drama. It's a psychological nightmare for Angel. This man isn't just someone from his past. He is the blueprint for every toxic relationship Angel ended up trapped in. Valentino didn't break Angel. He recognized a boy who was already broken and molded him into something profitable. Angel's father taught him violence, taught him control, taught him that loyalty only matters when you're the one being feared, and the worst part? Angel internalized all of it, even when he fought back. Even when he killed the man who made his life hell. That guilt never left him, he just hid it behind glitter, drugs, and sarcasm. So imagine what happens when that ghost suddenly has a pulse again. Angel doesn't get to walk away from that, he doesn't get to pretend it didn't happen. He's going to have to confront the one person he thought he erased from existence, and he'll have to do it at his weakest, not his strongest. That's what makes this arc so compelling. The show isn't giving him a heroic moment. It's giving him a vulnerable one. A moment where he has to choose between becoming the weapon his father shaped or breaking the cycle for good. Meanwhile, the hotel is unknowingly fanning the flames. Charlie is preparing for Lilith's return and Heaven's inevitable backlash. Vaggie is trying to fortify the hotel's defenses after the whole Vox incident. Alastair is quietly plotting something in the background, smiling like he knows Season 3 is going to give him exactly what he wants: chaos. But all of this noise creates distance. And that distance makes Angel feel like even more of an outsider. Like maybe the hotel moved on without him, like maybe he was just a project, not a person. And that's the perfect emotional gap for Valentino to fill. See, Val isn't stupid, he knows Angel isn't coming back easily. He knows brute force won't work this time, so he'll take a different angle, the manipulative one. The one where he pretends to care. The one where he acts like the misunderstood businessman Hell's media is praising him as. He'll twist himself into whatever shape he thinks will pull Angel back into submission, and Angel, broken down, confused, filled with guilt he didn't deserve to carry in the first place, he'll be tempted. That's the tragedy of trauma. Sometimes familiarity feels safer than freedom, even when that familiarity is killing you. But this is where the wild card enters: Husk. Husk isn't the loudest character, he's not the flashiest. But he sees Angel more clearly than the others do. He sees the self-destructs behind the jokes. He sees the hurt behind the attitude, and the more Angel pulls away, the more Husk feels like he's losing the one person who ever tried to understand him. Season 3 could easily push Husk into a moment where he has to make a choice: stay numb, or finally fight for something. Fight for someone, and that someone is Angel. And Cherry, she's the storm waiting to happen. Angel leaving doesn't just hurt her, it terrifies her. She knows what solitude does to him, what silence does to him. Cherry might actually become the character who stirs the pot the hardest, whether she breaks into Valentino's territory, confronts Arachnis, or even causes a city-wide mess just to draw Angel out. Cherry is the kind of friend who destroys everything in her way if it means saving one person she loves. And Season 3 is going to test that loyalty like never before. Then finally, there's Molly. Molly is the emotional counterweight to all of this. She is the version of family Angel never had the chance to protect, and if the show uses her the way it's hinting, Molly's story could become the quiet backbone of Angel's arc. Because even if she can't reach him, her existence alone proves that their family wasn't always poison, that there was goodness there once, that Angel isn't inherently doomed. And this is where everything converges, because the moment Angel is forced to face his father, Arachnis, Valentino, and his own guilt all at once, Season 3 becomes a war on every front: emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual. Angel isn't fighting for redemption anymore, he's fighting for identity, for autonomy, for the right to decide who he is without someone else pulling the strings. And that kind of story doesn't just affect Angel, it changes the entire tone of the show. Because if Angel breaks his chains, even for a moment, he becomes the first sinner who didn't just seek redemption, he earned it, not through perfection, not through sacrifice, but through finally choosing himself. And that's the moment Hazbin Hotel stops being a redemption story and becomes a revolution. And this is where everything flips. Because Angel Dust is suddenly carrying a weight he never thought he'd have to face again. The truth. Not the polished, sarcastic, play-it-off version everyone sees, but the raw, ugly memory he's been running from since he first fell into this life. And the crazy part? Season 3 doesn't tiptoe around it, it throws him right back into the fire. Because the only way Angel can actually move forward is by letting the whole damn world see what he's been hiding. So when he walks back into the hotel after that chaotic showdown, everybody's looking at him like he's the hero of the night. But Angel, he's not celebrating, he's shaking because for the first time in forever, the lie he's been living doesn't fit anymore. You can feel it in the way he avoids eye contact, the way his jokes land a little too fast, like he's trying to outrun whatever's clawing its way back up from the past. And Charlie notices instantly. The girl reads emotions like it's her second language. She doesn't push him, though, she never does. She lets him sit in the silence. And Angel hates that because silence is where the truth gets loud. But the moment that really snaps him happens later that night. When the hotel lights dim and the place finally calms down, he finds himself alone in the dressing room staring at a cracked mirror. The same mirror he used to hype himself up in before every messed up job, every performance, every self-destructive decision. And for the first time, he doesn't recognize the person staring back. Not the makeup, not the confidence, not the smirk. None of it feels real anymore. And this is where Season 3 hits a level of depth the show hasn't touched before. Because Angel Dust finally breaks, not loudly, not dramatically, just a quiet, tired exhale from a soul that's been pretending to damn long. But here's the twist: breaking isn't the end for Angel, it's the beginning. Because right when he starts tearing himself apart, someone unexpected steps into the room. Not Charlie, not Husk, not even Alastair. It's someone tied directly to Angel's past, someone he never thought he'd see again in hell. Someone who knows what he survived long before the glitz, long before the fame, long before the downfall that dragged him into this world. And the moment their eyes meet, the whole energy shifts. Angel freezes, his heart drops. Because this person isn't here to hurt him. They're here to tell him the truth he never got to hear, and that truth? It destroys him in a way that weirdly sets him free. Because Angel finally learns that what happened to him wasn't his fault. The manipulation, the exploitation, the guilt he's been drowning in. Season 3 strips it down and hands him something he's never had before: closure. And once he gets that, the Angel Dust we've known this whole time starts to evolve into something terrifyingly strong. Not powerful like Alastair, not righteous like Charlie, but powerful in the sense that he finally believes he deserves better. And that makes him dangerous in all the right ways. So as the final moments build, Angel steps out of that dressing room with a quiet confidence that feels brand new. He's not the hotel's comic relief anymore. He's not the messed up soul everyone's trying to fix. He's someone rewriting his own story, one painful chapter at a time. And trust me, the way Season 3 ends, it's proof this man is about to shake hell in ways nobody is ready for. Because Angel Dust didn't just survive his past, he finally confronted it. And when a broken person starts healing on their own terms, that's when the whole world changes. Season 3 doesn't just give Angel Dust a spotlight, it gives him a voice, a real one. And now that he's finally using it, hell better start listening.